Welcome to the light of God's way, YTVY. I'm Adolphina Shephard, and this is my co-host, Thomas Knights Templar.
Good evening.
And we have a fabulous guest with us tonight, DeLise, Paranormal.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
He is a paranormal investigator, and he captured some fabulous photos we're going to be showing you, so stay tuned. And for that, I don't know where you want to pick up at.
Well, Dave is a friend of mine, and over our years together as friends and stuff like that, how would you say your experience from when we first met to now? How have you grown?
I've grown a lot, and I'm very grateful and thankful to friends like Christine Chavone and others who have put me on their shows and gotten exposure for me. And as I do that, and also, I've met a few, local paranormal investigators like Brian Cano and Christopher Mancuso. These guys I know throughout the circuit, but it's the other people that I've met as we do these conventions and everything, where I've gotten a lot bigger because, they see the work that I do and they respect the work that I do.
So what started your interest in taking pictures of orbs and esoteric phenomena?
Well, it's funny because I'm doing a documentary now at St. Andrew's Church down by Richmond Town in Staten Island, as everybody knows. And the first time I had the experience of seeing an orb, I wasn't really sure what it was at first. I thought it could have been dust or it could have been moisture. And as I started to look into the photo and I seen a face inside of the orb, I knew it wasn't no molecules or anything other than that. But the funny thing was, as I was doing that, I also heard a voice. So they started talking to me, but at that time, my gifts weren't as strong as they are today. So that's where I learned and took it from there, and I just keep orbs. That's what I look for.
Well, what started your interest on that, though? Just you were there doing something for the church?
Yeah, I was doing my documentary, actually. I was taking photos around the church, and I captured one inside the church.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it, I said, wow, you get excited your first time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, an orb, and meanwhile, everybody discredits them, and I don't think about what everybody else thinks. I see what I see, and when I find it, it's like, oh my God, that's an orb. But, I put it on Facebook, people looked at it, and of course you're going to get your, no,
naysayers.
yes, no, yes.
You're naysayers.
Right, which is fine with me. Which is fine with me because I respect everybody's opinion, and that's what makes myself and other paranormal investigators honest.
So you would say that, from doing this work, capturing photos of orbs, and you have grown a lot more spiritually. Because you're capturing a phenomenon that is departed souls.
Right.
So by doing that, that makes you more spiritual. How has your clairvoyant gifts increased?
When I first started, like I had told you guys, I heard like 300 voices at one time. And, I couldn't understand like what was going on. And then all of a sudden, like I thought for a second, and I said, okay, one at a time.
Yeah, and I remember telling
Remember you told me to do that.
I told you to do that.
Because I called her up the next day. I was like, Adolphina, I don't know what to do. It's,
they're all over. My ears.
I felt like an operator, like, yes, wrong number.
Right, those connections.
Yeah, it was really funny. But as I got my hearing to adjust to the voices, then I was able to answer them, not to speak with them, but telepathically. You understand? I could talk to them. Right. But they gave me the gift even more because they were teaching me as I was doing this.
So then you think, like Tommy thinks, that they're departed souls or souls visiting or beings visiting?
Most definitely departed souls that have passed away, whether they died of illness or death of war or anything else like that. They do come back, and you can send them to the light and send them to God. But they have the return ticket to come back.
Right,
They've crossed over already.
Right.
I've noticed on some of the photos that you've had of orbs in the past that I've seen on your wall that sometimes I see faces in them, and sometimes I see like Mayan architecture in them. And I was trying to figure out like what's the connection between this? Why do some look like faces of people's souls? You know what I mean? Or their human face that was on there. like the one you had with the orb within the orb.
Right, with the big face in the
Yeah.
middle. Right.
I mean, that was really interesting. I was looking at it, I said, there's a man and a woman, the kind of thing that you see today. I mean, it's pretty big with Italians that on the gravestone, they'll put a oval-shaped photo.
Right.
And that's what that looks like,
Right.
you know? And it's kind of, you know, I was taken back. When I looked at it, I said, wow, I could see somebody standing there side by side, a man and a woman. You know?
Right.
And I know you've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of your stuff, the apparitions.
Oh,
and everything.
apparitions. They talk to me all the time in the church. I mean, I get people sitting in the pew with me. So, you know, it's all according to what.
That church, yeah.
Yeah, I
I know.
love that place, I got to tell you.
Well, it's near a cemetery, right?
It's
it has
on
a
grounds of the cemetery,
right?
yes.
So that naturally there's some souls that are there that they can come and go or whatever. But you know, that's the easiest way for spirits to travel through
Right.
an orb, something small. You know, just like in the Terminator movies, how they had to take all their clothes off and
Right,
everything
right,
to travel.
right,
Well,
right.
that's the easy way for them to travel in
Right.
the orbs. But you know what? It expends a lot more energy, but they can morph into a being if they wish.
Well, I've experienced that actually. I've had one manifest in front of me inside the church.
Oh, cool.
And where I was pretty perplexed by that whole situation
Yeah.
was I thought I was like getting a flashback from the 70s, you know? And I'm looking like I was at a Pink Floyd concert. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden glitter just started coming in front of me, and it shaped out into this beautiful form of a woman in a black dress with a bonnet, who ended up being St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And she asked me right there that I have on video and EVP, this whole thing happening.
Oh, wow.
And she says, "Can you see me?"
Oh.
Now, I've played this clip on other shows and people have heard that, but you see, this is, I guess, the connection that I have with the spirits.
Now, is she connected to that church?
Yes, her
Yes.
parents are there, buried there. In 1936, that's when she was appointed the saint, when she was appointed sainthood.
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know, her father was a doctor, her mother was a very famous person, and they are buried at St. Andrews.
Tell Adolphina the story you told me about when you did the road trip that you did. And
Oh,
what
okay.
you did for her 246th birthday?
No, it was her 240th birthday back in August. I had already been on a road trip from Gettysburg doing investigations to South Carolina, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, all the way down to Florida. But before I left, the last day I was filming at the church, I promised Elizabeth Seton that I would go see her for her birthday. So after this long trip, I went all the way to Maryland from Florida.
I remember we were talking on the phone
Right.
and you said you had either were going to do it or had just
Right,
done it.
right.
Yeah.
And it was her 240th birthday. I laid the rose down on her stone, and I ran back to New York from Maryland the same night and put the rose on her other stone that was in the church.
Oh, she must love you for that.
Well, you know, I promised I would do that, you know, and I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and that's why I'm well liked in the industry, because I'm very honest
You
in what
keep
I
your
do.
word. Yeah.
You know, I don't hide anything. You know, what I show, you know me.
It's good to know, because if I ever bite the bullet and you don't put a cigar on top of my grave, I will come and get you.
But, you know, I put up evidence that I find. You know, I'm not claiming it to be better than anybody else's, but it's real evidence.
Well,
Yeah.
that one night I was coming home and I was coming down Snake Hill Road and I saw Dave talking to the pastor of the church. So he says, "Come on in, I want you to meet the people." So I'm like, okay, you know. So I'm not one to do this, but I went in with Dave and we're in there, and it is an absolutely beautiful church. It's from the 1600s?
No, 1700s.
1700s, all right. So it's revolutionary time.
Well, that was a hospital first before it was a church.
You got to see this church. It's just absolutely beautiful. And I went in there, and I felt comfortable in there. I didn't feel like there was any. I saw couple of things while I was there. But Dave says, we're going to go down into the catacombs. So he says to me, he goes, when we get downstairs, he goes, there's a cat down there. He's 130 years old. 130-year-old cat. Right? It's a skeleton. It's down there.
Oh, wow.
Right? He hears the thing go, meow.
It meows at me all the time when I'm in.
But that wasn't,
I would
that
love
wasn't
it.
the best part.
Right.
He takes me into this room, and it's a long table that looks like picnic tables all lined up with little like benches, hold about 40 people. And just as we're walking down this little corridor, Dave's in front of me, this apparition, entity, whatever you want to call it, come breezing by, going right toward me on this side, and it was ice cold. I went, Dave here, he goes, Like,
Yeah.
he turns
Very-
around
I
and
said, "What's the matter?"
He's snapping pictures. He goes, oh, you met the ghost?
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause that's the-
very high frequency.
That's my
yeah.
buddy who's in the accounting room. He stays in this little room, and every now and then he'll come zipping by somebody if he doesn't know them.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, I've had some experiences with that too. I mean, you know, you were talking about the birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I always sing my mom and dad and my husband's mom and dad and anyone who I know that's crossed over happy birthday on
Right.
their birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they can come in an instant to see you like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time I remember that was kind of recent that I experienced the spirit was when I was in bed and I felt somebody sit on the bed. I felt the bed
That's my
like weight
favorite.
go down and it, you know, that just was so freaky. And you know, and then you start asking, okay, who's here? And I even have a cat that was, she crossed over in 2010. She was 20 years old. She
Wow.
comes and visits. And I know when she's around because the other cats especially are looking everywhere, underneath the furniture, sniffing around the bedroom because
Right.
they know she's in there.
They
Checking the
they
litter
pick it
box.
up like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm working also in the church area in the cemetery, there's a huge pet cemetery.
Oh.
So there's a lot of times you'll hear dogs bark or cats meow as I walk down that venue. But when one wants to show me themselves, you know what actually comes out is a deer.
Oh,
A
how
deer
about
will
that?
show himself in front of me to allow me to know that somebody's there.
Oh, how about that? So they're using the deer to do that. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I know one time they
One attacked me,
Yeah, one
yeah.
attacked you too.
Thank God it wasn't the male because I would have had the horns right in my chest.
Oh my God, that would have been horrible.
But you know what? I was by the bushes looking because I heard a noise.
Yeah.
And I'm, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I look up and thing jumped right out and hit me in the chest. I rolled back like 3 times. And I had to jump up. I was like, was that a ghost or what? And then I realized what it was.
So do you think that was self-defense, or do you think that a bad spirit had that deer attack you?
Well, at that time I was closing portholes in the cemetery.
I think it was a vampires or
Vampire,
something at
yeah,
that
it was
time.
the vampires and the Sasquatches that I was closing.
Okay, yeah,
Which was pretty interesting. And I actually had somebody with me, Louisa,
yeah.
who's been on the show a few times. She was telling me about this and about that, and we pretty much figured it out. But at the time, I don't think all the portholes were closed.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I came back,
Yeah.
I had been attacked. Remember I sent you the
Right,
photo of the
right,
scratches on my
right.
back?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
ended up being a good entity because she told me it wasn't a bad entity.
No.
They were just asking for help, and he was trying to reach for me as I was walking, and it scratched my back.
Well, you know, I know a lot of people out here are probably thinking, now they're talking about vampires and werewolves. Are they insane? But
No.
the truth of the matter is I've had some experiences with that myself. And I mean, let me tell you something. They are not the way they're depicted on TV.
No.
Oh my God, they are monstrous. And it's said that the Tibetans actually kind of guard the gate to hell, which kind of scares me that they're being pushed out of their own country, because who's going to guard the gates to hell
Right,
with
right,
them, right?
right.
Because they're talking about the vampires there. And so that you close those portals was really wonderful, because I did some of that work myself.
Right, you helped me with that when I asked you the
Yeah.
question to help me out with that.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like we have Mike up there for a question.
Yes. I hear you talking about vampires and werewolves. Do you guys believe in zombies also?
I don't know about that yet.
but-
Hopefully I never
You
will.
don't know about, but
To te-
werewolves.
To tell you the truth, I do believe in zombies, and I'll tell you why. Because in Haiti,
Right.
they have a special chemical that they can blow in your eyes, and you walk like a vampire for the rest of your life. I mean, like a zombie the rest of your life.
All right. Do you?
And that's a very true story, because if you've seen the movie The Serpent and the Rainbow with Bill Pullman, that's a true story, that he was a professor from college in New York who went down there to try to get this drug that they had, or powder, to make cancer patients and everything else in this country better.
and
And
did
he
it work?
was attacked, and this was blown in his face.
And he became a zombie for the rest of his
No,
life.
he became a zombie until he was cured from it.
There's an antitoxin,
Well,
an
whatever
anti-zombie
those
toxin. is
whatever
that
those witch doctors do down there,
Okay.
I
So you're
don't
saying
know.
that he was a zombie PhD?
Yeah, for a couple of days, and then he was off of it.
Oh my God.
That's interesting.
Well, you know, these myths do not come from nowhere.
Right.
It's just that maybe they don't exist in this dimension, like the vampires are not really in this dimension.
Watch the
but-
movie, you'll understand.
Well, if it's in the movie, then it must be true.
It is a true story.
Yeah, it must be.
No, but I'm saying
but it
that
is
the
based
myths
on a
come
true
from
story.
somewhere. Yeah.
I have another question for you. You were talking about these voices that were coming to you
Mm-hmm.
and talking to you. Are they always in English or sometimes in a different language?
No, I've heard them in Latin, I've heard them in French, and I've heard them in Dutch.
Are there subtitles so that you understand?
Only on Tuesday, popcorn night.
I see. And when they come to you in English, are there different accents? For example, if they're from the South,
Yes.
does it has a Southern accent?
Yes, I've dealt with British soldiers who are buried underneath St. Andrew's Church in the catacombs,
I see.
and they speak just as they would
As a
if they were in
British
London.
accent,
That's correct.
I see. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll be back.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
and
come
you know
on.
what?
Usually you are.
And you know what's interesting? I don't hear that because I appoint a gatekeeper, and they speak to the gatekeeper, who then speaks
Before
to
they
me.
come in to see you.
No, I mean they don't. They speak through the gatekeeper.
Oh, okay.
You know
So
whether
they have
it's
to pay a cover charge?
no, they don't have to pay a cover. So
Well, I see
whoever.
vampires on my stoop all the time around Halloween. They come in,
Oh,
I gotta
yeah.
give them candy. I don't know what this is about. They give blood.
You
Hey,
give
I've
him
been a
candy, I
witch
got to give
for
him blood. What do you
Halloween.
want from my life?
I'm telling you.
Speaking of, what are you going to be for Halloween? Are you going to
You
be?
know, it's so funny
He's gonna
because
be him.
St. Andrews is doing a Halloween Fright Fest this year, and I
Tomorrow.
advise everybody to go down. It's tomorrow, and then next week it's Friday and Saturday again, but it's Zombie Nation.
Oh, boy.
They went with the zombies this year. You may like to be there.
But what is it with all these TV
It's all
shows?
zombie.
They're either vampires, zombies, werewolves, undead. All of it.
Because it's a seller. You understand? Like Resident Evil.
I want to
mean,
see Lassie.
You know what? I'm sorry. He's hanging out with Flipper.
You
Forget
know, I don't
about
want to
Lassie.
see that no more. I am so sick of seeing this stuff. You know, everybody's so pasty white. You know, I mean, what's with that?
Oh my God!
Oh, too funny.
Mike's back. What do you want, Mike?
I wanted. What about mummies?
Oh my God!
Mummies?
I would
Do you
suspect
believe in the
so.
mummies?
Well, she's the one who went to Egypt and went to this.
I was there, too.
What do they
Yeah,
call them things?
I was also at the
pyramids?
University of Penn just last
Yeah.
weekend, and boy, they had all kind of mummies there. But I believe that these myths are there for a reason, and if you look a little deeper and you really got into it, you'd probably find it. But that's the scary part, because who wants to find something like that? You know, I mean, if you dig too deep, guess what? You're going to have experiences that are going to come to you like that, and that's the scary part.
And a
you're
lot of
saying
them
the more you
are, and a
delve
lot of
into
them
it?
are cursed
Yeah.
as well too. You know, so look at the guy who found Tutankhamun.
Yeah.
What was it like? After so many years, he died of some kind of rare thing from this,
Oh, I
from
think
opening
so.
up
Yeah.
the
Some kind of
mummifications.
spore, and they found out that I think it says that he had a spore
Right.
that he inhaled.
Right.
while he
From the
was
from
there.
the zombie. I mean, from the mummy.
And that
From the zombie.
But you know
Stop
what?
with the zombies.
Got me
already.
with zombies now.
No, but there were more than one. I
Right.
mean, I think it was everybody who went to that wound up dying from it.
Right. Who was on the team?
Everyone's on that
But what,
expedition.
but what the people don't realize, when they did all that mummification in Egypt and different countries back then, that was all alien related. You understand? That
it
is
makes
all
sense.
alien related. That is where they went, supposedly from what the Anunnakis were the first here who made civilization, who were a part of Atlantis. And what people don't realize, everybody's looking for Atlantis, but me personally, I truly believe Atlantis was a mother ship that just took off once it left. That's why you can't find anything from the ruins.
So you're saying that the island nation of Atlantis was a ship?
Yes, several ships. There was one mother ship, and each port was a different location. And then when it was done, they all just took off.
You know what? That was shown. If somebody wants to see something like that in the last Indiana Jones movie with the crystal skulls, where
Right.
they took
yeah.
the whole thing up and it was a giant spaceship. But you know what? I recently had some information for that, and I'm trying to pull the data banks forward on that I can tell you, because it was very interesting.
Right,
it was
right.
very interesting just about that. Yeah. So I see we got Brian up here. So Brian, what's your question, dear?
Hello, Thomas, Adolphina, Dave DeLise.
Hello,
How are
sir.
you?
How are you?
My question is for David DeLise. You were on a blog talk recently. Program's called Dead Air.
Right.
You were halfway on the first half of the program. It was it was like a 2-hour program.
Right.
You were talking about spiritual energies, if I'm correct, and you were talking about it was up before the conversation part where they were talking about Lizzie Barnes' house and their attack on Andrew
Borden.
Borden.
Right.
Yeah. You explained about the positives and negatives from spiritual energy, if I'm correct.
Right.
What can you reinsure? Can you explain to the viewers about about the differences?
Of positive and negative energies in the paranormal?
Yes. If
You
you remember
know,
from the blog talk.
yeah, no. From the radio show the other night, we were talking about Lizzie Borden. One of the people got attacked in the house for provoking Andrew Borden. The same thing happened to me when I found out that Andrew Borden was molesting Lizzie and the rest of the sisters. What happened was he pushed me down a flight of stairs.
Oh my God.
And, you know, I knew this was him who did this because, like Brian wanted to bring up the negative and positive energies.
Right.
Positive energy will not allow that type of a spirit to attack you. It's the negative energy that gives them the power. And the more negative energy that you give the spirit, he's going to thrive on that.
But you're saying this is Lizzie Borden's father?
Yes, Mr. Borden pushed me down the stairs.
Wow.
Yeah, but he didn't kill himself. He was murdered.
Right, but I mean, I can get into that whole thing too. I truly believe Lizzie did not kill those people.
I don't think she did it either.
I think it was the uncle and
yeah.
the maid. But that's just my hypotheses on the whole
No,
situation.
the only reason I was saying that,
But you know what Brian was saying about the negative and positive.
the
You
thing
know,
I'm asking you is that Lizzie Borden's father was murdered,
right?
okay, and he would come and push you down a flight of stairs, which means that he was no angel. You must have touched on something when you accused him.
Well, he molested his kids.
Were you?
But where'd you come with that? Where'd you get that from?
Oh well, you know, through history reading and you know, talking with people who have done
So
investigations
he
there
molested
before.
his children, but they weren't like with each other. The kids were, they were just
No, the father
Your father
was
was molesting
the girls. There was
So-
4 sisters.
4 sisters. Okay.
You know, and the thing was, like Brian wanted to know, you know, with your negative energies, again, you know, you have to really be careful what you say to certain things. It's like when you watch the Ghost Adventures. Zach is always provoking
him,
and
yeah.
provoking and provoking, you know, which is good if you really want to get something, but you have to pay the consequences and
Well, he did.
repercussions
He had
that come back to you. You understand, Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
He had something really
Anything
evil
else,
come
brother?
on him.
I do have another question. It's regarding to, I guess, one of the other shows you were on, I guess, here at the studio. It's regarding about Andre Rand.
Andre
Oh, boy.
Rand.
Yes.
Oh, and I got, actually, just recently I found out some more information that I'm going to be dealing with soon. As I was doing my investigations on Staten Island, I had found a body in the cemetery, on Barrenhurst Cemetery.
Usually
It
you
was a
do.
little kid, no, a body. I found a child's body.
Okay.
That wasn't buried. You're
No,
saying.
no, that was murdered and
Oh,
left in
my.
the woods, and the
Oh,
cops
boy.
came. They took the body out, and I had thought it might have been one of the kids from the murders.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it wasn't. It was just somebody else whose body we found. But, you know, long and short, to answer your question, if you read up to him and see what he's about, you know, Andre Rand, that wasn't his real name. His last name was Radisson or something like that, but he changed it to Rand. And what I discovered in that cemetery, there's 5 tombs that say Rand. So maybe that was what made him change his last name. But I truly believe, with other mediums I've worked with, that one of those kids are still buried in that cemetery. And I'm working on that right now to see if I can talk with the parents and a few other people to see if maybe we can go in there and look.
Speaking of places, I was in the South Shore in the Charleston area, and on this one street, there was this empty lot. What are the odds of finding maybe paranormal activity or a decaying body buried within the lot?
You know, anything is possible, especially on Staten Island. There's a lot of things that have happened here, you know, from, you know, historical points of view to regular murderers in the neighborhood.
All the
So
American Indians that died there.
American Indians, that's right. There's
If
a
I
lot
were to
of
show you, if I were to
possibilities.
show you a place
Right.
on where it's located, would you then take an EKG meter and to investigate the spot?
I'm a medium. I don't need meters. If
Okay.
I go somewhere, I'm going to be able to sense it myself.
Okay.
You know, although a lot of people use the K2 meters and everything, when I first started out and didn't understand the abilities, I used it. But now that my abilities have gotten much stronger, I don't need them anymore. I just walk in and I know if something's there or not.
The only thing that's good about that equipment is for those non-believers, it's kind of a backup thing,
Right.
but you know, you
Not
don't
all
really
the
need
time,
them.
because sometimes, I mean, I was watching the guy had the meter, and the meter
Mm-hmm.
took a huge leap.
Right.
But behind the wall he was there, it's the electrical panel.
Well, that's the problem.
You know what I mean? You have to
Yeah.
absolutely research the area you're doing.
You gotta
make
debunk
sure there
everything.
is no free electricity running through there before you can use one of those meters.
Yeah, you
Because it
really
will
do.
register. You know, this guy thought he had a hot spot that was like the gates of hell. You know what I mean? And then he finds a 200 amp panel behind the other wall.
And
I mean-
that's what kills you. Like Tommy
Right,
said,
right,
if there's an
right.
electrical panel there, you'll shoot up to 10,000. You know what I mean? I've done investigations where I was in people's personal homes, and you know that was the problem in the house, the buzzing from the electrical, and they thought it was some kind of a sound that was. No, but a lot of people don't realize that that is a big problem.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Now, you know, Dave and Tommy happened to be at the beach today, and they captured some amazing photos. So before we run out of time, do you want to see some of them? Should
Sure,
we
sure.
show some of them?
Which one? Brian, I think Brian's working on the pictures. Mm-hmm. I also brought a couple of orb photos to show the people.
Oh, good. Yeah.
as well.
So if we can get up some of those photos so that everybody can see, especially of the spaceships, because
Yeah, the UFO.
they have to be UFOs because
Oh, there it is there. That's one of the orbs that I had caught
well, one of the orbs. Okay.
in the cemetery. Mm-hmm. You know, this one was standing right in front of me, and I could see it with my naked eye at the time.
Now it looks like there's three beings behind it, or are they tombstones?
Those are the tombstones
Those are
behind it.
tombstones.
Okay.
You-
Okay.
You see the red and the green on top? Mm-hmm. What are you, Italian?
Yeah, they come right from Italy.
You know.
They came with a box of Perugino.
I think
What do you want me to tell you?
Oh boy, I knew you two were going to keep me laughing tonight.
this is what we do.
Well, we try to keep happy, you know.
Oh yeah. So
All right.
whenever you're done, ready for that next photo in the control room,
Well,
bring
while
it
they're
up.
doing
What do we
that,
got?
Yeah, we'll chat with.
Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetie. You got
What
a
did
question?
you think? I gotta
Oh,
ask
I'm
him a
sorry.
question.
No, him. He's up.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Nick. I didn't even see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick.
What's your question, dear?
I have more information about the Frightful Fest thing. Like, I want to know what days it's going to be, and, like, is it near...
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night, and then next week it's Saturday and Sunday as well.
I don't know about that, because I might go pumpkin picking tomorrow. I don't know.
All right, so
Gee,
make it
there's a
next
plan.
week.
Okay.
Go next week then. Dress up as a zombie and go check it out.
I don't know. I feel like dressing up like someone else then.
All right, so make fun of it. Make dress up like somebody else.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
All right, cool. Let me know.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Don't you usually pumpkin pick in the day?
No, he wants to go at night.
Oh.
He's smart. He wants to
Yeah.
see the vampires and werewolves.
You really don't want to see them, really. They're terrible
You
creatures.
wait for the great pumpkin to come. No, as I was saying, Dave, what did you think of the beach that I took you to today?
You know, when I got there, it was very calm. And this is another photo of a couple of
Okay.
orbs, you know, that I had caught. And the green one, to me, is Saint Raphael. You know, it was a very, very interesting time when I caught that, because that was in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah, I
You
could
know.
see the snow that you're mentioning it. Yeah, the
And-
snowflakes.
And I mean, it was probably about 3 feet, 4 feet of snow in the cemetery at that time. And here I am running around taking photos at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Did you see on that one, the big one on top? That had that Mayan look to it.
Look, it also looks
Right.
like it has eyes or something up at the top, and then something in the middle.
The pattern looks like Mayan inscriptions.
What are those two dots at the top? I would think they were eyes, but they might be something else.
You know what I've noticed with them as I'm right?
Huh?
That's right. It does
Yeah.
look like the electron.
Yeah.
Right. You know, you know, as I'm like writing this book on the orbs and everything, because I'm studying them.
Did you read that book I gave you?
Yeah, that one I read, the one you gave me, but it's like this is the scientific proof that I'm trying to come up with to have all the non-believers understand that these things are truly real and they're spiritual, because a lot of times I speak to them and they'll talk to me, which is really cool, because then I understand what they're there for and they tell me what they're there for.
Wayne Dyer has been experiencing these orbs now, and he said that a PhD, this guy, his name is, I think his name was Robert or Anthony Van Leeuwenhoek, when he discovered the world of microbes, all right, he opened up a new world, and now we're opening up a new world of orbs.
Again, yeah.
And the explanations. It's a science that's becoming very popular to try to come up with the answers of what are these?
Right, what they
what
are.
are they?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started posting orbs on my page, you know, you had a lot of skeptics.
I know.
A year and a half ago. Now it's different.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody pays attention and looks at them for a
People are
change.
starting to wake up.
They're understanding that, you know, not everything is dust and water and
Right.
moisture. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I don't know if you know, but Tommy knows it. One of my hobbies is aura photography. And one day I'm going to bring the equipment here, and my husband will take the pictures, and you'll see, because that's what's documented in this book, Living with Spirit, Going Beyond the Physical. In there, I actually have orbs in people's bodies, like ding, ding,
Oh,
ding.
nice.
You know, like in your body that you can see, and behind you, and
Right.
usually everybody's spirit guides, sometimes they're passed over relatives, sometimes pets come in, sometimes there's Jesus in there, sometimes there's fairies, whatever the case may be. So they actually are captured with the aura photography.
Right.
So I've been showing people this for over a decade, and it blows people's minds.
Yeah, I mean, there's one orb I definitely want to show you that I have there. It was a purplish color. And if you look at it, like, see this green one looks
Yeah.
like a planet.
Oh yeah,
does.
That
it
looks
kinda
like a
does.
picture of space, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Kinda.
That's two orbs that I caught, like right when I was getting ready to leave the night because it was getting really cold. But the last one, this purple one that I had caught, was amazing because what's inside of it, if you blow it up even more, you see the depth even more and more.
Yeah,
and
I
more.
like them when they're on a computer screen and you can see them
Right.
really
Well, you can
big.
blow them up.
Well, I try to
Yeah.
I try to crop them as much. See, this is the one
that
I was
it?
telling you. Yeah, I
That's the
tried
one
to
that,
crop
with the
'em.
face.
Right. That's right in the right-hand corner.
Yeah, I see that.
So I
Yeah.
try to make it big enough so that everybody could understand and see what it is. But I truly believe they are definitely spiritual. You know, there's a lot of meaning behind them.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's telling you a story, but the people don't know how to read it yet.
Probably just go with the fact that I believe personally that they're departed souls, and they travel back and forth
Yeah.
from the other side to here.
And I
they
think
come
that's
in-
the
they come in
colors-
energy form.
Right,
They can manifest themselves as an apparition, but that must drain them and take a lot
Yeah.
of energy. So they stay in that form. That's the form that we are. We're not, like we've said it 1,000 times. We are spirit having a human experience.
Well, I can't tell you the number of times my husband's taken an aura picture, and as he's watching it, whoops, in comes a spirit, because they know the person sitting there is getting their picture taken. They know it can pick it up, so there they come to get into the picture
Right,
so that their
right.
loved one can see
That's like the people
the
who,
picture.
when they're doing a news story and they're like this.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You know, they're doing this.
Right.
Right.
Right. So I mean, to me, this is nothing new. But for to the general population, they have no idea, which is why I thought it was such a great idea to
teach them,
Right.
because they must know, you know, not everything is fake, and not everything is dust particles, and not everything is moisture.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I've been in places where I've caught flies and mosquitoes in photos, and God only knows when I'm out there how many times I'm patting myself trying to take a picture and
What happened
mosquitoes.
that night?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
I came home with one big lump.
Yeah.
They bit me to death.
Oh yeah. In the
Yeah.
summer, obviously.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had shorts on.
So what's the next picture you want to see?
This was like I think this was the last photo I took before I went home.
That's neat.
They all came out to say goodnight to me.
And you know what's nice? You can tell that they're all good spirits because
Right.
they're all white or pink or
Right.
whatever. You know, now if you see an orb that's say gray, I think sometimes gray sometimes might be a balanced being, because if you looked at that picture I showed you, you notice they're white on the outside but black on the inside, or
Right.
vice versa, because I guess they actually kind of black matter. You know what I mean?
Right,
Part of
right,
black
right.
matter in some way. And
Right.
so you never know what you're going to see, but I'm dying for those pictures to come up with the spaceship.
Okay, yeah, let's see this. Oh, yeah, this was,
This is the picture today.
yeah. Me and Tommy were on the beach earlier today, and Tommy's like, Dave, you got to come to this beach. You got to see the beautiful. I was like, all right, let's go. So we went, and we lit up some incense, and we did the prayer to Mother Mary and Jesus. And Tom's like, take some pictures of the sun. Take some pictures of the sun. So I'm taking pictures. And all of a sudden, I see a UFO right up at the top. And there's the UFO. Huh? I know, but I'm saying that the UFO is in. Right, but you see right there, clear as day.
Oh yeah, and
What it is.
you had a multitude of pictures that it moved around the sun. Well, couldn't it
Right.
be there in 1 second? You said you saw 3 or 4 of them, and then you
Right.
took a picture and it's
It was-
behind
it
the
was in
sun.
different spots.
Yeah,
Right.
so it had to be a spaceship because it couldn't maneuver around that quick. Also, I have a picture of the sun god, and I believe that there's the sun god right there. We caught one. I don't know if that's the same one. It appeared that there was a being kind of like with his arms around the sun.
That was the other photo you were showing.
That
I
was
was
the
showing
other
you.
one,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think they got it up
Oh,
in
okay,
time.
because
they couldn't get it up.
if you put that picture back for just a second, you'll see that there's a big being. You might need some psychic sight to see it, but you can see the head and you can see beings in there. There's a couple of them.
To the right side around the.
Yeah.
I seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is just fascinating. And think how huge that spaceship has to be next to the sun. I mean, that's about the size of planet Earth,
Probably.
right? Because have you ever seen a picture of planet
In
Earth?
comparison to the sun, yes.
In comparison to the sun, it's about that size.
And the funny thing was, at different angles when I was taking those photos, it was around the whole sun at each photo I took.
Right.
So, I'm sure people say it's a planet, it's this and that, but a planet can't go from here to here to here to here to here
Right, right.
at all.
No.
It's going to stay right where it is.
My best guess is that's probably the Galactic Federation protecting the sun.
It's
yeah,
possible, it's definitely possible that it is.
Yeah, because you know what? They do talk about, now I don't know how it's possible, I really don't, but I have read that there are portals through the sun. But I mean, to me, how does anything not get burned up by the
That's
sun? You know
easy.
what I mean?
They go through it at night. What? I said something wrong?
What were they wearing, the Ray-Bans?
Right, right. Mike's here again.
All right.
What would you like to
so
ask, Mike?
you spoke about mummies and zombies
Yeah.
and ghosts and
Yeah.
werewolves, and now you just mentioned the Galactic Federation.
Yes.
Right.
Do you folks believe in superheroes?
No, but we believe in UFOs.
Well, what about like Hercules? Do you
I
think
think
there was
that
a
was-
Hercules?
I think that was
he could have
probably a
been
true
a
myth.
superhero,
Yeah.
right?
And the
the
Cyclops.
Greek gods and everything.
Yeah.
You believe in the Cyclops?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't believe in superheroes now? Or you think there's superheroes
now,
coming
no.
around?
There's people with abilities that have supernatural strength.
Right, they
'Cause I've
have.
watched Stan Lee's human, show.
Do they fight supervillains?
No, I haven't
don't
seen
know.
anybody flying over the Empire State Building yet. But when I let you
but,
know,
yeah.
I'll give you a call.
Okay. All right.
You know?
Since the
Because I heard
60s,
the
if I think
Galactic
somebody hit somebody,
Federation,
it says
and
bap,
that had to bring
zip,
me there.
bop.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But
You
no,
know,
I
well,
understand what you
yeah.
mean by the Galactic Federation.
Well, Star Trek didn't come from nowhere. I really believe that was downloaded to the person who wrote
Roddenberry.
that, and it was information given to him, and I believe it to be true because there's so many. I mean, it says it
There's
in the
so much of
Bible
the
even.
information that he had put into that show that is now.
People copied it.
Now, well, they're talking about
Yep.
antimatter, the collider that's in someplace in Switzerland that they built. This thing is like a mile long to produce such a minute amount of antimatter, but it does exist
But
Yeah.
you can time travel with that.
if you can make enough of
Yeah.
it.
Woo, and I
there is
believe in that too.
There is possible.
Yeah, Mike, come up and ask the other
There is
question. Mike.
possible. Let me tell you something. People laugh and everything, but it is possible that you can time travel. And you know what? Albert Einstein knew it himself, and so did many others. And just to get off the topic a second, Tesla.
Tesla.
Let me
yeah.
tell you something. We could have free energy right now.
Right.
Are you
right.
kidding me?
Yeah.
They threw him out, spit him up, chewed him, and meanwhile they're still using his technology today.
Right, right. After he died, they went, the government went in, or somebody
Stole all his files.
Stole all the files, and you can bet they're utilizing them and they're buried somewhere.
I don't know about being
Oh,
buried.
I'm sure.
No, I mean they're buried where
Where
they're
nobody's
been
gonna see
hidden.
'em,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're hidden. But you know, I don't know the mechanics of, say, time travel, but I know it's possible.
I
Well,
believe
they
people
did
do it now.
experiments in the, I think it was around the World War II area.
Philadelphia
yeah,
experiment.
Philadelphia
Right.
experiment. The Navy denies it, you know, that it happened, stuff like that, but there's been a lot of documentaries about it where supposedly they tested Einstein's theory of relativity. I can't even say
You
it.
can get it out. You can get it out.
Relativity. I don't know. I guess I had the other things on my mind. Anyway, they built these generators on the ships, and supposedly the ship disappeared from where it was. I think it was up in the Maine area or up that way, Massachusetts, and the ship was seen down in
Virginia or something?
Virginia.
Yeah,
I
it
forgot the name of
was-
the
yeah.
place over there.
Right.
It's one of the naval bases there. And it was seen there, and then it was going back and forth. And to what the story is, according to the Philadelphia Experiment, the movie, and some of the written documents, that some of the people were actually infused into the metallurgy of the ship.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because of the
And,
molecules
because
of
the
the body.
molecules blended with that. I mean, this is not something that I give credence to one way or the other. I'm just stating that this is the story. Mike, you can ask your question now.
Well, wait, before we go any further, have you ever seen that movie Deja Vu with Denzel Washington?
Yeah, of course.
Where they talk about how he goes from one place to another, goes back.
That's
They could
time
only
travel.
do 4 days, right? Well, you know, now think about this. This is why one of the reasons I believe it's possible. If the past, present, and future all exist at one time, it's really a question of having the technical ability of setting the coordinates to where you want to go.
Right.
And then I do know that there's wormholes where if we think it's going to take 110 years to get somewhere, I can guarantee you our space brothers and sisters can probably get there in 2 days through some wormhole.
Probably-
They set the coordinates just right and bing,
Probably
bang,
faster
boom.
than that, because let me tell you, and to be honest with you, with all the UFO sightings that people see within, say, the last 5 years, you know, I mean, they have to be somewhere very close.
Well, they took a lot of things that they think they might even have underwater bases.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're
yeah,
definitely
they
on
do.
the water bases for
Yeah,
sure.
I know
I see
there
something
is.
in the
Absolutely.
Great Lakes. I was
Yeah.
watching this, you know, anything I watch on TV, I'm going to give it a certain amount of credence, especially
Right.
if the people are viable.
Well, it gives
You
your
know what I mean?
food for
And
thought
also
in your
not only- Yeah,
mind.
but not only that, I also sense, you know.
Yeah, and then you
Right.
think
and
about
I-
it and get
I take what
info.
they're saying. And I'm not going to comment one way or the other whether it is, whether it's not. You know what I mean? All I can say is this. These things are being seen on a daily basis. And in certain countries like Mexico,
Peru.
Peru, this is like a daily event. And their news actually covers it. It's only in this country and possibly in the Soviet Union where they don't cover it.
No.
Everything is top secret, hush, hush. Let's face it, we went from transistor radios to fiber optics. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
It's
I
funny
want
you
to find the
said
guy
that.
who made a fiber optic.
Right.
Who figured out that he could send something, a grain of sand this big, minute, can hold the whole memory on a computer.
Right.
I mean, where did this technology come from? We didn't have that.
Right.
Let me tell you, the government has been dealing with extraterrestrials
Reverse
since
transfer.
Long
before,
time.
since before you can imagine.
Yeah.
You know, it really has.
Well, listen, I got to tell you something, though. You know, we're talking about things that some people might think are a little far out, but I have a picture to show you. I wanted to be able to upload it, but the equipment that we had here the last time we taped the show is no longer here, but I'll bring it another time. But I don't know if anybody can zoom in on this, but literally...
Mike, see if you can, Lisa, see if you can get it.
Literally, this is a picture of how they were able to take the sun and channel the rays into a tree of life type of figure, upside pyramid, downside pyramid. It was also daytime when I took this picture, and it wasn't until I developed it and got home and uploaded it that I could see that it was completely black. So they made the daytime night, right? And then they took the sun's rays and made it into, it looks kind of like an egg timer.
Right.
But to me, it was symbolizing the,
So in other words, they took the illumination of the sun in its normal state, and that looks like ripples on the water.
Right.
And they basically removed the brightness of the sun.
you know, I don't know the mechanics of how they did that, but I mean, if you look at that, instead of the sun, the rays are round. Well, how in the world did they make them go like this and like that with the sun in the middle?
It
You
does
know,
look like the
it's amazing.
The Kabbalistic tree of life in that.
Now,
Right.
if they can do something like that to the sun, why would any of this other stuff be impossible? Right? Think about it. I mean, you know, this is so huge.
You know, the universe is so huge, and nobody will ever know its endless path. It's just what it is.
Yeah. So, how much time do we have left?
I have no idea.
What's that?
So, do we have any other pictures left to show, or was that
Is
the
there
last
anything
one?
else in there, Brian, picture-wise?
Lisa, you want to ask a question? All right, that's you, Mike, but you had 12 questions tonight. You reached your limit.
You're still waiting for the Galactic Federation to come and pick them up.
So, what are your plans in the future?
Right now, I'm getting ready to have talks with a few different television networks to be picked up to do some TV shows, which I'm very grateful and happy about. And the people that I work with in the industry, you know, we are all getting together, and, you know, I go to these like places now and I sign autographs with them, and we take photos, we talk to people about it. Now I want to do some lectures starting to explain orbs to people so that they understand. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to be finishing up the documentary at the end of January, and I'm going to be done with that. And then I'm hoping to start a new show with some good friends to put together and just go out and do some serious investigations in different locations that nobody's ever done before. Because to keep going back to the same places over and over and over, we all know there's stuff there.
You know what would be fun?
What's that?
Oh my God, think about going like to Stonehenge or something with this. Some of these sacred sites where you could
I
really
did that
pick
last
up.
year.
Did you?
Yes, I went to Peru to the Mayan temples
Oh,
and did an
wow.
investigation in the Mayan temple.
And I've never seen any of that
Yeah,
work.
no, that's something that's going to be coming out with the documentary.
Okay.
This is stuff I'm going to add with the documentary and other stuff that I'm
Oh, well,
going to
that
be doing.
sounds so exciting.
But I was just talking to somebody about going to Egypt and trying to get, you know, permission to do some things inside the pyramids. So, but by the time we write to their government and by the time they answer, you know, I have to
You
go
know,
through
I
a lot
actually
of
have a
headaches.
connection for you.
Oh,
I
do
might
you?
be able to help you out.
Oh,
you know,
that's
I've been
great.
to Egypt, and I know a few people there.
I would love,
Might
I would
be able to
love
hook
that.
you
Thank
up.
you very
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Because,
So, we'll keep in touch. I'll send an email tomorrow or this weekend, and
See,
we'll
this
see
is
what we
what I
can
love
do.
to do. You know, and if I can, you know, be on a show and just show people what I have, that's all it's about. I'm not looking to make $1 million. I'm not looking to be rich and famous. You know what? Here's the evidence. This is what I'm here for. You know what? I watch other shows. I see what they have to offer. God bless everybody. You know, we're all investigators. So we're pretty much going to work with that.
Oh, good. Well, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm thinking we're counting down pretty much. I'm not sure how much time we have left.
I think we got one more question. I haven't seen this gentleman all night.
Okay.
We got 6
What's up, buddy?
All right.
Hi.
My question is to David. You showed us pictures of orbs before,
Yes.
but you magnified those pictures. I was wondering how the original picture looked compared to the magnification of what you did before. You know, you didn't show the original picture.
Right, but it
Right.
looks the same way. I'm just building it up more so that people can see the depth of it. If I show you the original photo, it's going to be the same exact way. No
Well,
different.
what did you shoot that, you got those orbs?
What do you mean,
Did you
what did I
shoot a
shoot?
picture of a sky? You can't shoot a picture of an orb.
Yes,
you know,
I do.
that-
I see them.
you see them and you just shot into the, you know,
When I see
how
it,
far away, you know?
Could have been 5, 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
Could have been
and
as close as
nothing,
you are.
Nothing in the background?
Well, like the
Sure there
one
was stuff
had
in
the
the background.
tombstones, the one that I saw had the tombstones behind it, right?
Everything's
Yeah,
there.
but
Yeah.
for example, if I wanted to take a picture of a policeman's uniform, okay, you'd see the whole uniform.
Right.
But then if you magnify it and keep coming in, it's going to be distorted.
But you'll still see the uniform, right?
No, you're just going to see a small part of it. If I wanted to take the perfect example is if I take a picture of an elephant. Okay, and different pieces of the elephant is going to look foreign. It's going to look strange.
Well, you know what? I got an idea. Like, how
Sure.
big were they? Like, if you could just size it out
If the
for 'em.
well, the actual photo, the orb
Could
was
you
about
go
that
back?
big.
Is there a way that someone could go back to one of those photos and maybe you can explain how far away and what we see?
Hey, Brian,
Okay.
can you do me a favor? Go back to one of the orb photos for me, please.
Yeah, because I mean, I actually have orbs that like are so big, they're this big, like bigger than my body. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? And I was looking for it today to bring up, and you could actually see
Anybody
it
in
next
the-
to a person.
Can you bring back one photo? Like
There we
this
go.
orb?
Yeah.
This
Okay.
orb was probably, at the time when I took it, about this big.
Okay, was it at night?
Yeah.
Okay, what was in back of it?
The tombstones.
Okay,
church.
is there a picture of the tombstone? Could you go back to that picture, please? All right, so
yeah, I see
where
the
is?
tombstone right to the left. That white streak is a tombstone.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you'd like me tomorrow to bring the original photos in
Well,
for you, I have no problem.
Maybe the next show. You know, I'd like to see two pictures.
Yeah, he'd like
You're
to
just
see the full
showing us
picture.
if I
Yeah.
looked in a magnifying glass, not a microscope, those objects, those fungi and the algae and all the bacteria is going to look very foreign.
That's beautiful, and
Okay.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
you brought that up.
And you-
That's awesome.
Okay.
And you know what? When we're done the show, I have a picture with a fellow with an orb this big right over his shoulder. So you can actually see it next to the being to get the size and everything for
You
it.
want to see the
Yeah.
original? I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
Okay,
You want to
no
see
big
the
deal.
original photo?
Well, I
I'm
would
gonna
have
give you-
liked to see the
I'm gonna
original.
no. I'm going to give you my Facebook account. Go to my Facebook page.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook. Go
Oh,
ahead.
good idea. Give that
Yeah.
information.
You can just type my name, Dave DeLise,
That's Dave DeLise.
and just type it in and look me up on Facebook, and I'll accept you. You can also go to my YouTube page, type in Dave DeLise,
That's DAVE
DEL, capital L
DE capital LISE, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good.
At Facebook or YouTube.
That's correct.
And you can see that original picture.
Original photo.
Okay.
Mike.
There's about
Yeah.
5,000 or 6,000 photos on there of orbs.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you.
So enjoy.
Just
You're
stay there-
welcome.
Just stay there. a
Just
moment.
stay here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just stay there. When I did my other show is Tuning Into Your Angels, and during that show, Claudia Canuto, she comes down from Florida, from Canada to do the show. Her father had recently passed away. Claudia is a clairvoyant medium. She's very, very good, and she always asks her father to appear. Her father appeared in an orb right behind her and I, and it was his face in the thing. She's done that at home. I've seen
Yeah.
pictures at home of the orb with the man's face in it.
Right.
You know, he kind of looks like Carlo Gambino without the cupolina on the head. You know what I mean? But that's who he looked
Yeah.
like in that orb.
Now, is the face distorted or anything in the picture?
No,
It looks just like perfect
it
picture
looks
of him.
Perfectly of him.
When we get
And
off of here,
I tell you the truth, at that time, it kind of alarmed me because it was right
Right.
behind us, and he was right there.
Gee, I
Every
would have liked to see a picture of that. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you could, if you
Yeah.
go to Tuning Into Your Angels, you might see some of the pictures that were posted up, but it is there. And I can tell you that, you know, I know you can have some skepticism of what they could be or what
Complete
they are.
skepticism. Yes.
But you're the biggest skeptic we
minute.
got.
That,
Wait,
there's
wait.
no
When
more
we're-
greater skeptic than I am.
when we're done with the show,
Sure.
I actually have the photo of the orb on my iPad.
Well, it's nice that
before
the
and after.
folks in
But-
our
but I'm
TV
gonna
land
show
can
you-
watch that. You
I'm
know.
going to show you a face in one of the orbs. just so you can see for yourself.
Okay. What is it, a happy face?
No, it's a guy hanging out waiting for a bottle of liquor. What
He's
can I tell you? I don't know what to tell
He's
you.
waiting for the bus.
But you know what? I'll show you some stuff that'll put a little
A
curl
smile
in
on my
your eye.
face.
Yep.
You'll put an orb on my face.
Putting you
right.
starch,
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.
Okay.
You know, we love when Mike gets up here and asks us questions because it makes everybody laugh and we have a good time here.
Absolutely.
You know, but anyway, so
Plus, we have to return him to the home where we got him. That's true. It's, you know.
No, and I love debating with people about these things because, like I said in the beginning, it just makes everybody honest at what we do. You know, and you could believe whatever you want to believe, but if a spirit's talking to me and I take a photo of that orb, I wouldn't care if Jesus came off the cross. That is what it is.
well, you know, we're so glad that you were able to be on tonight.
Thank you for
because,
having me. I mean, I love it.
I think it's been fascinating,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of fun.
I think people will pick up on this, and
I hope.
you know, and start to awaken. And remember, this is Intuitive Awareness 102. And what did we say we were going to call it? Paranormal.
Introduction. Paranormal. Introduction to paranormal.
Yeah, and UFOs. So we'll be posting this on YouTube for those of you who might want to show someone else if you can't catch it on the station. But we do want to thank everybody, the station here, and our volunteers, and the crew, and you,
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
and everybody
Our
who's
sponsors.
assisted, our sponsors.
That's Antonio's Pork Store in Tottenville. Anthony Rizzo, proprietor. And Aardvark Pest Control in Great Kills. Vincent Bonacore, president, and my very dear friend.
And you know what? Most of all, we want to thank the viewers because they're the ones who make it possible.
Yes.
And we hope you've enjoyed this show as much as we enjoy putting it on, and have a good laugh every
now
month
and
with
then.
us.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess it's just time to say good night. Right?
Thank you.
Good night.
We
Right?
wave now. We are the world.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
we'll see you next time.
Definitely.
Anything else?
Nope, I think we're done. Here
No,
comes
we
the
should be
music.
good.